Prison Ride Radio. I hope that you're doing well. This afternoon, we have the mother of Brandon Lewis. He is from Indiana, and we're going to be speaking with her about her son and some important things that we want to get out to the public. Hello?
Hello?
Yes, ma'am. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing fine, Miss Renee. I appreciate you having me on the show and caring about what happened to my son in Indiana. Thank you.
Yes, indeed. Can you just, we're going to start. Can you let us know who you are and about your son?
Yes, my name is Sheila Arnold, and I am the mother of Brandon Lewis.
Okay.
And, yes.
So can, first let me say our condolences 100%.
Yes,
with,
thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Can you tell us about who your son was as a person and what happened to him from what you were told?
Yes. Well, first of all, he was incarcerated at Wabash Valley Prison in Indiana. And my son, he went to church there. He would tell me that he would go to church and he'd pray and talk to God. He wrote letters to the church. And he asked me to send him scriptures, and he would, talk to his children on the phone. And he would ask me, say, Mom, can you put some money on my, homeboy to sell his books or buy them something to eat. Mm-hmm. And, he was just a person to make you laugh. He had a good heart. And he just wanted to come home. Mm-hmm. Told me, he said, you're my queen. I want to come home and help you because I know you've done a lot for me and you're hanging in there with me. He loved basketball. And he just said, Mom, I want to do better. I want to come out and I want to help others. Young men want to get out.
Right.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So I know that you were on your way to visit him when you got a phone call from the facility. Can you tell us about that?
Yes. Like I said earlier, a little bit ago, my son, he, tried to help people. So one of his cellmate friends would always his sister would always come to the prison, and I would come and see my son. And he said, hey, Mom, why don't y'all get a ride together? Because she would take a bus and it would take a long time. So I said, sure. So she asked me if I would take her to see her brother. And I had seen my son the week previous. And I said, okay, I'm not sure, I'll let you know. So it was Saturday morning. And I said, yeah, I'll take you down there. So on my way to the prison, her brother, which is a cellmate in the prison, called her phone and told her to tell me there was a medical emergency in my son's room. And I said, huh? And then he hung up. Then he called back a little bit and said that they were doing CPR on my son. And I got really nervous and trying to hurry up and get to the prison. And then they hung up, and he called her back again and said that my son didn't make it. And, of course, I just, really kind of broke down. And she's, do you want to stop? And I said, no, I got to get to the prison. So once I got to the prison, they asked me, who did I want to see? And I said I couldn't because he just died in your prison. So they went and got, I guess, the investigators or who were there. I can't remember the people I talked to. But I asked them, could I see my son? Because his body had not yet left the prison. They had no idea I was on my way there. Right. And they said, no, man, we never do that. You cannot see the body. And so I just fell out. And it's like, I got to let me see my son. So they said, let us go talk to the warden. So whoever they talked to, they said, oh, okay, you can see your son. So the policeman car took me around to the back of the prison. And there was an ambulance with my son's body in it. And I just sat in the car, shaking and just, it's indescribable, and just praying to God to give me strength. But I knew I had to see my son. And so I went over to the ambulance, and they they unzipped the bag just to his neck, and his head was laying to one side. And I seen a blood wound on his forehead. But most of all, I was looking at him, and I said, I wonder why he looks like that. His eyes were open, and they were very black all the way through. And his mouth, his lips, his face was like, his lips were like very black and dark. And I said to myself, he does not look like a person that had just passed away, like the young man said on the phone. So anyway, I never said anything to them about it. You know, I just sat around for a little bit, and then I just drove home. And then, you know, we worked on getting his body to Indianapolis, Indiana.
Okay.
Yes.
So I know that was a traumatic experience for you.
Yes,
you know,
very.
My heart is with you for sure.
Very. Thank you.
I can only imagine. I know that his body eventually went to a coroner.
Yes,
And
yes.
So what did the coroner have to say about his injuries and the time of death?
Well, when we went to view the body, he allowed me to us to see my son's body without any clothing, and he said, Sheila, looks like your son has been in a struggle, and there were several stab wounds on my son's body, on his neck and all the way down, and it just looked horrible, just all stabbed up. And he said he just looked like he had been in a struggle. And he said, your son did not just die. He said, your son had been dead for several hours. He said, when you seen him, the reason he looked like that, because his body was in rigor mortis already. And, I mean, we were just all just very stunned, just like, you know, how long. They had no time of death at all. I never found out like how long, you know, he laid there. I just have no idea.
And it sounds like, for the coroner to say it had been several hours, like, where were the guards at this time? I mean,
Yes. Well, we got the Wabash Valley Prison. They took autopsy report, and there was said like there was, blunt force to the head and neck injuries, multiple scalp contusions, brain edema, blunt force upper and lower extremities, and multiple fossil contusions to the lower extremities. It was really bad. And so in the report, after the autopsy, they said that they had found drugs in my son's system, and they said that he stabbed himself up. He said they said that they talked to, because my son had a cellmate. The cellmate said that he was coming back to his cell with my son, and he said he seen smoke come out of there, and a guy had left out. And then he said my son was complaining about being hot, and they have on there where they're saying that the cellmate said that he was complaining about things on him, and he said also, the cellmate said that he seen a knife in the cell, but he said before he called the guards, that morning he flushed it down the toilet. And he said that he had talked to my son, and it has a report that the other cellmates, they were yelling, telling my son to be quiet, they couldn't sleep. And I don't, all the stuff that was going on in the cellmates, in the cell, that my son was just going through a lot of changes. They didn't say, there is no report to say that any guards came, no one. They have on here, they said even, they said there was EMS, because I had gotten a lawyer to try to help me, but he couldn't help me all the way through. He dropped me. But on this report, it says that a EMS ambulance run sheet, Sullivan County Coroner's Office investigation report has been requested but not provided. And it also says no further information regarding bystander resuscitation or medical intervention is available despite repeated requests. I don't have any information on what happened, no run sheet about the guards or any of that. Just they have just a testimony of the other inmates, right. And they also said in the report that he said that that my son had that the pathologist discovered a fractured bone in his neck. Part of it was broken, and they said the fracture was not the cause of the death, but it raised questions what actually happened. Right. But once again, today, I have no idea, like, what happened or anything. And that bone is a hyoid bone in the neck. And most of the time that I looked it up, to that bone to be fractured, you would have to be either strangled or hanging yourself, because it's very, very protected. Right. And also in the report, it said that my son was intubated. That means, intubated, you put a tube down someone's throat to try to save their life. Right. But it's like nobody's ever explained any of that to me. And I've tried, matter of fact, the last couple of days to talk to the second. I got a private autopsy of Indiana, and I'm really, kind of suspicious of that. And because nobody's explained anything to me, because how do you intubate a person, a body that you find is in rigor mortis? Because the young man, the cellmate, said that my son was sitting up. And so did he was sitting up all night? Did he die like that? And in the early report, they said he's seen his feet was laying down. So some point, did he sit up? If all of this, is so many unanswered questions. And she was supposed to call me back 2 times, the new pathologist lady, that I got the report, but she never called me back. And on top of that, the lawyer that I first tried to get, they kept giving me the runaround because she said she could not complete her report. This is the private autopsy, until she got the photos from the prison before they even touched his body. And I kept going back and forth. Nobody knew where the photos were. So I kind of, I was just so hysterical and just really having a depressed, hard time. I kind of let it go. Right. But I'm a praying woman, and God is like, Sheila, you need to get those photos. Right. So I brought it back up. And this is, by this time, the lawyer had let me go, because he's like, Sheila, basically, I believe the guards and your son killed he killed himself. He stabbed himself up. So anyway, so I went back and I said, do you guys have the photos? Whatever happened to the photos? And I was very disappointed and upset, because they had photos sitting in their office this whole time, and I never ever knew about it.
So you said they had a box of the photos?
They did. Okay. Yeah, of the first photos.
Who
yes, in his office. The lawyer, the first lawyer that I had gotten, the only lawyer, the one that was trying to looked into the case, that he turned me down because he said that he, was trying to get. He was the one that was trying to get the information, and he never got all the information from the prison. He just let the case go.
I see.
And so those photos were there, but my spirit is like, don't let it go, Sheila. So I went back and I asked her, did you ever receive the photos? And she said no. And then I was thinking, okay, how could she complete her report without the original photos? But she did. and she's basically the same thing. And they work with, and people, was telling me, Sheila, you can't really trust the state of Indiana when they all work together. Mm-hmm. And this is what raised questions for me, because nobody's ever talked to me, explained anything, right, said anything to me. And so she said she would look at those new photos that she's never seen and not charge me. And so she did. So here lately, like I said, I wanted to talk. She said she would answer questions because stuff I don't understand. Right. But 2 days there was nothing. So I can't sleep. Right. It's just bad. Too much. Yeah. Too much unanswered questions. And he even said, my son told me, he said, Mama, he said, if anything ever happens to me, a guard has something to do with it. Mm. Now, he called from the prison cell phone, saying the prison's phone. And he also told an ex-girlfriend, because she told me that he said that, guards didn't like him, and if something happened to him, the guards had something to do with it.
Yes, ma'am. And till to date, the prison or no one else has gotten back to you to try to assist you with answering all of these questions that definitely deserve answers.
I'm on my own. Nope, I've been on my own, searching and asking, and it is so hard to find help. And so I was reaching out to the public to try to get help. And there's one other thing that I want to say is that they had a report here. They named the guards that were working, from the what they said, the 7th through the 10th, which this incident happened that morning. It was on the 9th. And I don't know what this is about, but it says that 2 or 3 of these guards are no longer working there. Mm-hmm. So did they get fired, or what happened? Right. Unanswered question again. I have no idea. Wow. But I haven't heard anything. Even the chaplain never called, gave his condolences. No one ever came down while I was there to give their condolences. And I just need help, and the statutes of limitations is running out because this happened. I've been going through since 2019, and November 9th is 2021, and is when I will not be able to sue the prison. And I have expressed that the help, even if no one could build a case against the prison. I was begging and pleading that a attorney would get in before the statute of limitation date is up and at least get the missing information, because you won't know what's up under the rock unless you turn it over. Right. Just to get in there and beat that date and get as much phone calls, video, paperwork, anything that you can get to reveal some more evidence for me and help me to get closure. And not only that, to help other inmates and other mothers, because it's happened to others at that prison.
I definitely understand. You got my support and my platform support. I'm going to try. I'm going to do everything that I can to get this out there.
Thank you. Yes, thank you. I really appreciate it.
Yes, indeed. How can people get in contact with you that want to assist you? Do you have an email or Facebook?
Yes.
Or something? Go ahead.
Yes, they can email me and also go to my Facebook page. My email is Sheila, SHEILA, Arnold, ARNOLD, 429@gmail.com. And my Facebook page is Sheila Arnold.
Okay. All right, so we're going to put this out, beloved. And we're
Thank you so much, sister.
Try to assist you with getting these questions answered about your son.
Okay, I really appreciate you. Thank you so much. It just helps to get it out there and do the best that I can as a mother, and as well as all mothers collectively.
Yes, indeed.